All right, now that we'll talk about merchants, let's talk about processor and PCI DSS. Processor, who are they? First, organization that handle payment processes services for merchants. Remember, Walmart might not even have that machine is there, they have it, but again, they are not in charge in processing the transaction. These organizations are responsible for securely processing credits, card, and debit cards payments, ensuring that transactions are conducted smoothly as well as securely, right? But what do processors do? Handle payment authorization. When a customer make a purchase, the processor verifies that transaction is valid, the customer has sufficient funds, and the payment is approved. Okay. Again, we're gonna go through this, like the life cycle, how it happened. When you put your credit card, the very first thing, can you tell me how are they able to tell you do not have sufficient funds? Decline. Yes, they've declined me. Maybe at time when you put a wrong pin, don't you know that it's not going? Yes, right. When you go, your card decline. Oh, what an embarrassment. Imagine everybody's looking at you, waiting, and there you go, your card decline. Not that you do not have sufficient funds, but you might also have like a wrong, because I've had actually a wrong card. I recall I went to Walmart one time. I changed my purse a lot. So that day I went to my Christian meeting. I'm coming back. I was like, okay, let me go to Walmart to pick some item. Guess what? I didn't have not even my ID. No credit card. Ah, so I went, I did everything. Guess what? I check just to check out, scan everything. I always go through the self checkout. I couldn't. I was so embarrassed. And unfortunately, Walmart doesn't go with Apple Pay. I think that's one of the things that is kind of make me so like forgetful at time because many a times I just do Apple Pay, right? I don't go to my mother, I do Apple Pay. HEB will do Apple Pay. I don't know why Walmart will not do Apple Pay. If you go to dealers and other stuff, they'll do Apple Pay. So that's how the girl was like, oh, there's anything you can do. I was like, unfortunately, I have to drop everything, but that was an embarrassment, right? But that's just to tell you that again, when when you set your card and all those things, then they have to check it. Settlement and funds transfer after authorization process, and you see, the first of all check sufficient fund and then pre-approve approve the payment because you can either decline or not. But when it make that search and they will tell you approve, then when it's been approved, you can definitely issue you a receipt. But you realize that each time you make a payment, you transfer money, it scales. It doesn't. It leaves your account, but you still see pending. That pending, it tells you that that's the process of this process. So transferring that fund from your account to be settled to the merchant account. And that's why you will see that pending for some days. That pending can go for like 2 to 3 days or so, right? So during that process, they call it settlement and fund transfer. So after authorization, processor help transfer funds between the customer bank and the merchant bank. But even in conjunction to that, some will also have payment gateway. So many processors also provide payment gateway which connect the merchant website or point of sale system with a payment gateway to securely transmit payment details, right? Payment gateway again just to securely protect that transaction. You say, imagine an online store called creditfashion.com. I guess you guys could say, now I like to shop. We're having all this fashion thing where customers buy clothing. When a customer enter their credit and details and clicks pay now, the transaction is first sent to payment processor. Now you have payment processor like PayPal or Stripe or whatever. And best practices, some people say they don't like paper, it's hard, la la la. Have you enable MFA, right? Paper, they do have, we go check their PCI DSS compliance, have you enable MFA? So stuff like that, each time I'm shopping online internationally, I always go through paper because if something that I don't like, I can always file a complaint, I can return them. So that's me. I will never put my credit card outside like that, never. So if I'm shopping online, know that I would definitely go through paper. If you go even to Walmart, you want to shop, and I like to just have all my cards, I have it on paper because I just choose which card I want to, make my payment. Okay. And you guys, you want to also avoid the habit of you putting your debit card on site. Okay. The processor checks if the card details are valid, if the customer has enough funds, and whether the transaction is genuine, right? And then we have payment or Stripe verifies, which actually paper that act as a processor, verify that the customer card is authorized to make the payment and transfer the money to the store bank account. If everything is complete or approved, the processor then communicate the approval back to, to the merchant. That's the trading fashion come affirming or confirming the transaction. Two, say imagine a grocery store, fresh market, customer at the checkout counter. When a customer swipes their card, the transaction goes to payment processor like Square or First Data. You have different processors which act as an intermediary between the fresh market as well as a customer bank. So the processor will securely check the card details. Again, request authorization from the bank. Remember, you have to put your PIN. If that's the authentication authorization, you are authenticating yourself. So once it confirms authorization from the card, for example, is this card valid? Once your bank approved, yes, this person have authenticated themselves, they'll put their PIN and everything looks good. And if approved, that's how the payment processing begins from there. Once approved, the processor communicates back to the POC, and that's where you see it on the POC that it has been approved, you have been charged so and so amount, and then you can print your receipt and the customer is charged. But that's exactly what happened behind the scene, right? But why processor matters in PCI DSS? Because payment processor handle cardholder data during every transaction. They must be compliant with PCI DSS to ensure that this sensitive data is encrypted, protected, and not exposed during or after transaction. PCI DSS compliance is essential for processor to avoid security breaches and ensure customer data remains secure. They must maintain security measures like encryption, firewalls, and access control. And that simply tells you why we spend so much time going through encryption, firewall, and all those other things that we mentioned, access control. So, but what's the takeaway? Processor handles the secure processing of payment transaction between customer, merchants, and banks. They verify the transaction, process payment, and ensure the security transfer of funds from the customer bank to the merchant bank. Payment processor must comply with PCI DSS to ensure that card data is kept secure during early transaction. And that brings us to the end of this processor. We'll talk on merchant, we'll talk on processor. Now, the next video we will focus on acquirers, define who acquirers are, what's their role as far as PCI DSS is concerned. And don't forget, please like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, comment, just make sure to support my effort. I'll see you all in the next video, and bye-bye for now.